Hello, everyone. My name is Roxanne Molyneux, and I am Ojibwe. I am the daughter of Tom Molyneux First Nation from Bear Island Reservation. I am also the Indigenous Outreach Manager at GROW. We acknowledge the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaty and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampa Agreement. We are working closely with our Indigenous community to advocate for a just food system to create a community food program that is culturally relevant, diverse, and equitable, and is inclusive. I'll now turn it over to Carly so we can start cooking. Miigwech.
Thank you, Roxanne. And good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming to this workshop today. Tonight, we are going to make a super immune boosting drink called Fire Cider. It's a wonderful drink to make, especially in the winter during times like this when we're all trying to stay happy, healthy, keep our immune systems up to beat. Has anyone tried this fire cider before? No? I hadn't either until not too long ago. We made it for another workshop I was a part of, and just looking at the ingredients, you may think it might taste a little harsh, but I can assure you it's really not too bad, especially when you add a touch of honey. So if you're wondering who I am, I'm Carly, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I work for the Community Garden Network as a garden support worker, and my job is to visit all the community gardens in the region and kind of help out wherever is needed. I have a background in horticulture in a wide variety of areas, a little bit of farming, ornamental horticulture, landscaping, trees, greenhouse. So yeah, I work with a lot of plants. And so yeah, that's a bit about me. And on to the fire cider. So the cider is a little bit different from the traditional cider you may be familiar with, made from apples. And the cider is a mix of healthy herbs, roots, fruits, spices, infused in an apple cider vinegar. It contains many of the foods that would be commonly found in many of our kitchens. So it's a fairly simple recipe to have on hand. And it's really, really good for when you're sick because it has immediate benefits. It's a stimulant, it stimulates blood cells and blood flow. And this blend really invigorates the immune system. It stimulates the salivary glands, promotes digestion, and offers an array of antioxidant actions on the body. Before we go on to making it, I'll just share with you a few of the health benefits of all the wonderful ingredients in this recipe. So we have raw apple cider vinegar, and you'll want to get the kind with the mother in it, which is the bacteria culture. And this apple cider vinegar contains enzymes and beneficial bacteria, which are full of probiotics and is really good for the gut flora and the gut biome. And it's also a fantastic preservative. If you don't happen to have the one with the mother, this one right here, Bragg's, regular apple cider vinegar is fine as well. But this one just has all the good bacteria, beneficial bacteria benefits in it. And ginger is very stimulating and warming. It's antibacterial, and it effectively relieves pain and quells nausea. Horseradish root, it opens up the sinuses and is a powerful immune stimulant. It has a very high vitamin C content, which makes it a remarkable antioxidant. And this is horseradish root here. It looks pretty similar to ginger root, a little bit thicker. And I always struggled to find horseradish root, but I was actually able to find it in the produce section near the herbs at Zehrs. And yeah, so if you're ever looking for it, that is where I found it recently. Garlic is known as a blood cleanser, and it boasts antimicrobial and antiseptic properties. It's pretty much a cure-all no matter how you look at it. Onion is loaded with sulfur and a variety of vitamins and minerals, an excellent immune booster, and encouraging peak performance on the body's natural defenses. Oranges and lemons and any kind of citrus we all know is really high in vitamin C. And hot peppers, jalapenos, they bring more of that sinus opening heat, and along with tons of vitamins to stimulate the immune system and relieve pain and speed up cell recovery. Honey is an antimicrobial and a preservative, and sweet, of course, which balances out the spiciness of all the other ingredients. Turmeric relieves inflammation and is a wonderful detoxifier. You can use it just in the powdered form, or you can also buy the turmeric root at the grocery store. It's pretty common there too. Thyme is antibacterial and antiseptic. Rosemary is an extraordinary antioxidant and helps with cell protection. And black pepper loosens the sinuses and has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory benefits. So you can imagine just having all these ingredients infused into one drink would do wonders for the body. And yeah, that's why it has such immediate effects. For anytime you're feeling like a little bit of a cold, you'll want to have this, or just kind of to wake up your body a little bit. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions? Good. If anyone has any questions along the way, feel free to ask. And yeah, so putting all the ingredients together is fairly simple. You'll just want a jar. You could do it in a smaller jar if you want a smaller dose, but I just have a big glass jar. And it's pretty much just layering all these ingredients like a lasagna. Yeah, I guess we can start with the onions. I've pre-cut a lot of my ingredients already, so I'll just kind of add it in as we go. And I just cut up the onions. It's not too particular. I just cut them into bite size. Well, we're not going to eat it, but chunks. And add it into our jar. And with all these ingredients, it's kind of a rough estimate. You don't have to really follow the exact amounts. Whatever you have on hand is going to be handy. So I like to start with the onions first and just put them in the bottom of the jar. I have quite a bit of onions there, but the more the merrier. And then I will do my ginger root. You can either peel the ginger root or just cut it into chunks. I'm usually too lazy to peel. I find it a lot easier to chop it just into little chunks. And then you could just throw that on top of the onions. A good tip that I recently learned to peel ginger, instead of using a knife, it's really handy to use a spoon just to scrape off the skin. And the spoon allows you to really get into all the little grooves that are kind of holding in the dirt and whatnot. So yeah, the spoon is pretty handy for that. And then with the horseradish, you'll just want to cut off the skin. And again, just cut it into little chunks. Again, it doesn't really matter the size. And yeah, and I just keep layering it into my jar here to make a nice, spicy, pungent concoction of all these good ingredients. And for the garlic, you can chop it up, but I just like to put in the whole clove. I'll press down with a knife and just break it open and just add it in whole. And then that way it releases all the good juices inside. And then for any citrus, you can use grapefruit, orange, lemons. I just have orange and lemons here. And I'm just gonna cut them up into chunks, maybe quarters or eighths. And you can leave the skin on. The skin is really good as well. Running out of room in my jar here. Yeah, you just want to keep building it up with all your ingredients there. As you can see, it's a pretty easy recipe to put together. It doesn't really require too much time. And for the spices, I have a little bit of fresh rosemary from the garden that I'll just put a teaspoon or so in. And then I have a little bit of fresh thyme. And you can add pretty much any other spices that maybe there's one in particular that you like, that you have on hand. I have a little bit of cayenne pepper. I don't have any fresh peppers at the moment, so I'm just going to put a few dashes of cayenne pepper. And then just a little bit of turmeric as well. Just sprinkle it in. Yeah, and that's pretty much our little concoction, a jar of medicine. And I know it says, I think on the recipe it says to warm it, but you don't really have to warm the apple cider vinegar. It's fine if you are in a bit of a rush and just want to pour it in. Yeah, and you just want to pour it over top into your jar on top of all the ingredients. I actually ran out, but you'll want to pour it just so it covers the top, so all of the ingredients are submerged in there. I'll have to get a little more later at the store and fill it up. I have the one that I made a few weeks ago here, and you'll just want it so all your ingredients are submerged in the water there. And that is basically it. So when you're done, you will, if you're using a mason jar and you have a metal lid, you'll just want to put like a piece of plastic or parchment paper. I just have a little baggie on top here because the cider will erode and cause the metal to rust. So you'll just want to have a little protective barrier in between the two. And yeah, just screw it on tight. And this can sit on your counter for 4 weeks. And you'll just want to burp it every day or so. I didn't find mine bubbling at all, but you'll just want to make sure the air doesn't build up inside there. And about after 4 weeks, well, I mean, you could try it immediately, but just to, get all the infusion going on, you can leave it on your counter for about 4 weeks. And occasionally you'll want to just turn it back and forth whenever you think of it. It's easy to forget, but I like to leave mine sitting on the counter, so I try to remember. And yeah, so once you think it's ready after a few weeks, you just want to strain out all of the ingredients. You can use a strainer, like a really fine strainer, and just take out the liquid. You can use the ingredients like the garlic and the onions. They would be good, I imagine, in like a stir fry or anything you would use garlic and onions in. I would probably want to take out the lemons and the orange. I can't imagine the rinds would taste too good in anything that you're cooking, but yeah, and you actually don't even have to put the liquid into the fridge. You can just leave it on the counter, and it's a vinegar, so it lasts quite a while. I mean, there's not really an expiry on it.
So Carly, does that get fizzy?
Mine didn't actually. Yeah, but you'll just want to check on it because I guess it's like, fermenting, but you will want to, just check every few days just to release some of the pressure. Yeah, and then what I like to do, I just like to take a little spoonful of it every few days or so just to keep my immune system going. And if you're feeling sick, just have a spoonful of it. You can mix whatever portion that you're having with a little bit of honey to sweeten it up, and that will definitely improve the flavor. But that's pretty much it. It's a nice, easy, quick fix. Instead of going to the store and getting cold cough medicine, you can make it at home with much healthier ingredients. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
So if you're like congested from a cold, like right now, is it like a decongestant, or is it more of a immune building?
Yeah. So this will work almost immediately with any kind of just releasing anything that's kind of blocked up. Different from like a more nourishing kind of herbal remedy. This is more immediate because it stimulates so many different processes in the body with the heat and yeah.
Did anyone make it tonight?
Nope, not yet.
Did you make it, Win?
No, I didn't make it, but we do grow horseradish in our garden. And when my husband